There are many different ways Squid Game Season 3 could end, and none of them are pretty. From Gi-hun joining the Squid Game to a darker theory resulting in his torture, these are every possible ending the show could throw at us. Some are heartbreaking, some are horrifying, and one of them might already be coming true. If you take a closer look at the games, you quickly realize that the games weren't just meant to kill contestants, but they were instead designed to survive eternally, and Gi-hun is about to walk into a trap that he cannot escape. Remember that VIP escape tunnel Junho found in Season 1 when he infiltrated the island? That was not just a random safety measure, it was evidence that the game was always prepared for revolt, for any scenario where everything could go wrong. In fact, that very same tunnel is rigged with bombs.
Don't touch it. It's a bomb. They made this passage, so the VIPs could escape in an emergency.
Meaning that there's a high possibility that the whole facility is as well, ensuring for complete self-annihilation in case of a rebellion. Consider how crazy this is. The games have persisted to exist for more than 30 years and have never been revealed. That's not by chance. That's a bulletproof platform with built-in safeguards, a clever strategy to ensure the games' continuation, and it was all in front of us since the beginning. Dead bodies are incinerated immediately. The workers are unidentified, contestants are drugged to not be able to share locations. Every aspect is constructed to leave no evidence. But all of this isn't even the worst part, as it only gets more hopeless for Gi-hun. Even if his uprising is successful, even if Junho's Marine team wins all of the shootouts with the pink guards, it does not make any difference. When actual harm is near, the VIPs slip away in their hidden tunnels and everyone else is wiped out. Contestants, personnel, proof, all of it. Boom. Vanished. The games don't just survive assaults, they adapt and transform, learning from each attack to become stronger. Gi-hun is convinced he's fighting the games, but the reality is absolutely soul-shattering. The system is rigged so that regardless of anything he does, he's destined to lose. The house always wins because the house can literally blow itself up, relocate to another location, and rebuild itself bigger and better than ever before, leaving nothing behind but ash and perhaps a few traumatized survivors that no one would ever believe. But if everything is destroyed, where would the VIPs go? There's only two possibilities. Either they're moving the game to another island to continue the Korean games, or far beyond that idea, going to a totally different country. The idea that Squid Game operates as a worldwide network rather than just a Korean problem offers an interesting way to understand how the series might end and what it really means. This theory makes sense because of key moments in Season 1, especially when the VIPs casually mention that the contest in Korea was the best.
Right, the contest in Korea was the best.
Thank you.
Which suggests they've seen similar games in other countries. If such a worldwide network exists, it would completely change how we see the series' main enemy. Instead of just a local criminal group, we'd be looking at a massive international system. Each VIP might run games in their own countries, moving locations around to avoid getting caught while keeping the same basic structure of exploitation. This expansion would fit perfectly with the show's criticism of capitalism, as wealthy people from many nations could work together to fund and watch these deadly competitions, treating human suffering as entertainment across different cultures. What's really shocking is the impact this would have on Gi-hun's story, emphasizing a huge and heartbreaking situation. After experiencing the terrible losses of Season 2 and seeing his rebellion fail, learning that the Squid Games are just one part of a vast international network would destroy any hope of a simple solution. Instead of facing a problem he might actually solve, he would discover the crushing truth that shutting down the Korean operation accomplishes almost nothing in the bigger picture of global inequality and systematic abuse. This discovery could lead to several possible endings. Gi-hun might try to expose the entire international network, changing from a reluctant player into one fighting an almost impossible battle against powerful systems. On the other hand, the mental stress of this revelation could completely break him, possibly leading to his transformation into the very thing he once fought against, perhaps becoming the front man himself, showing how idealism can be corrupted by systematic brutality. This dark outcome for Gi-hun perfectly matches another famous theory, one that everyone awaits. The possibility that our hero becomes the antagonist. We all know what happens in the final episode of Season 2. After having all the rebellion die, the frontman warns Gi-hun to look closely at the consequences of his hero game.
Now, witness the consequences of your little game.
Then guards take him away from the dead corpses of his companions, and this is the truly appalling part. They don't kill him. Where are they taking our battered hero, though? The solution may be more frightening than death itself. Perhaps they are taking him to witness whatever will utterly shatter his remaining hope. Something both brutal and personal that will shatter his soul from the inside out. The director has a twisted pattern. Each and every obnoxious character meets their match. Remember how satisfying it was when Deok-soo was eliminated by Minyo, or when that praying man was pushed off the glass bridge, and when Thanos was stabbed to death. But what happens to all the obvious villains? Following the pattern of the 2 last seasons, after having the fans' most hated characters, the intention is turned back to other characters from the main cast, the beloved ones to cause emotional shock. And who else to choose this season but Hyunju? Netflix is fond of their portrayal of LGBTQ as Hyunju became very popular and beloved by fans. And that's exactly why she may have nearly no chance in surviving. We all know how Netflix loves playing with our emotions. The saddest plot twist? Seeing this tough combatant sacrifice herself to protect Gyumja, Yongsuk's mother, who we've seen have an interesting dynamic of care with her. Even the best of us can't outrun the game's harsh rationality. Now this next detail is truly shocking. Recall how the shaman put the curse on Yongsuk and his mother yelling,
"This is where it ends for you. There's no escaping now. You're going to die miserable, excruciating deaths. One by one in front of each other's eyes.
You will face each other while dying a painful death." That was not merely random dialogue, that was prophecy. The cruelest of emotional conclusions would be Yongsuk emerging victorious upon his mother's passing in the final game, sacrificing herself for her own son's future, telling him to restart his life in her last breath. But why would she die? To serve as a direct parallel, recall how Gi-hun lost his own mother in the first games? Well, part of looking closely at his consequences is that he's going to have to watch Yongsuk and Gyumja's last game, the sacrifice of a mother for her own son. Every shriek, every sob, every second of that mother-son tragedy will be like a blade twisting in his psyche. He'll watch not only this terrible event, but recall his own twisted tale unfold before his eyes. A son who cannot protect his mother, crushed by the same system he believed he'd outsmart. The comparison will be so stark, so gruesome, that it will shatter whatever remains of Gi-hun's sanity. So finally In-ho gives his finishing blow to Gi-hun to reveal to him the final truth that heroes always fail. In-ho was not able to save his wife despite winning the games. The system doesn't need heroes, it devours them. Shattering his world, there's only one thing left. Gi-hun is now the new frontman. Shattered and desensitized, he assumes In-ho's role as the instrument of murder. It is the ultimate allegory. The world does not slay heroes, it debases them. The child who wished to rescue everyone is now the man who brings ruin. Now we've reached the final theory, a possibility that emphasizes pure sadness, an absolute tragedy unlike other theories featured up until now. What if Gi-hun dies in the final season of Squid Game? This theory has fans divided but still makes the most sense. It might be the perfect ending we didn't see coming. Throughout the series, we've watched Gi-hun transform from a desperate gambler into someone willing to risk everything to stop these deadly games. But what if his ultimate victory comes at the ultimate price, his own life? Think about it. Gi-hun has carried the weight of survivor's guilt since day one. Every person who died in those games haunts him, especially his childhood friend Young-bae, whose death in Season 2 completely breaks him. Netflix even released promotional images showing Gi-hun handcuffed to a bed, trapped like a prisoner. The symbolism is clear, he's caught in a system designed to destroy him. But here's where it gets emotional. What if Gi-hun's death isn't meaningless? What if he sacrifices himself to finally expose the truth about the games to the entire world? Imagine him using his final moments to broadcast everything before the island blows up if our earlier theory is correct. The VIPs, the organizers, the corruption, everything and everyone would be revealed, making sure his death serves a purpose bigger than survival. This would be storytelling at its most brutal and beautiful. Gi-hun's journey has always been about redemption, about making up for the lives lost because of his choices. His death could be the ultimate act of redemption, trading his life to save countless future victims. It mirrors other dystopian stories where the hero's victory is bittersweet, where change comes through sacrifice. Yes, killing off the main character is risky. Fans are invested in Gi-hun's survival after everything he's endured. But that's exactly what would make his death so shocking and emotionally devastating. We expect him to live, to get his happy ending. But Squid Game has never been about happy endings. It's about the harsh reality of systems that chew people up. One fan perfectly captured this sentiment. An actually great twist if done right. And they're absolutely right. If Gi-hun dies exposing the games, saving others while unable to save himself, it would be the most fitting ending possible. Tragic, meaningful, and unforgettable.